Hi everyone, welcome to Truth Prevails. Today I'm going to be going over kind of like a summary of Harry and Meghan, the docuseries, and I'm going to be giving my own opinion. I'm going to start with a disclaimer that I believe them, I support them. I don't hate the royal family or anything like that, and I do want the royal family to continue and to exist for centuries to come. But I did watch the docuseries and I stand by them having a right to speak. They're not going to speak every day. They haven't been speaking for all this time, and this is their chance, and I support it. I think everyone should have a voice. What I think that the whole docuseries is about, really, at the end of the day, I think is family. I feel like it's the idea that, they're just a family. At the end of the day, the rift, the beef, whatever's going on is between family members. And, if you've had family, normal family, dysfunctional family, I think you can relate to some of the things that are going on. Two kids, siblings grow up, and then they grow apart as they grow, once into two different things and stuff like that. The in-law situation, same thing, right? So that's basically what I think. I think that's like you get to see that a little bit in here. But it also shows how, like, no matter how happy the family unit is, the family part, grandmother, father, mother, that the media intrusion can be a problem. PR, what you have to do, or what the institution has had to do to basically combat negative press can also be a problem. And that's basically it. I don't hate people who love the royal family. I don't have any ill will or anything like that. I'm learning about them and I understand that it's a very controversial topic. It's a very sensitive topic because it's tradition. However, I just believe at the end of the day that no one should be feeling like killing themselves. No one should be killed by other people because of this tradition. So that's like where my opinion lies. I feel like, coming together to do this Netflix series, I feel like Harry has his own reasons for wanting to do this. Kind of almost like an open letter to his country, to the people, and with the hope that some people will understand where he's coming from, as well as an open letter to his family. Anyone who's watched interviews of Harry when he was younger would understand that he's not a fan at all of the media, and it's very evident in the docuseries. He really just doesn't like them. Megan also has her own reasons. For Megan, I think it's more of setting the record straight. She's from a different culture. She was brought up to take pride in herself. She worked hard, became somebody in Hollywood, worked really hard to do that, to build her reputation, only to have it all just like broken down when she was there. So I think for her, I think that's basically it. So now I'm just gonna go into specific. So for Diana, I think one of the myths he wants to dispel is this revisionism idea with Diana, that Diana would totally let people, hate on Meghan. And he did that with a few, video clips showing how, as much as Diana loved the people, as much as, she may have related with the media, when it came to her children, she was very protective. She was very protective. We saw a video clip, which I will show right now.
As a parent, could I ask you to respect my children's space?
She also said in an interview that basically, where she implied that she spoke to, Prince Charles, who's now King Charles, to basically try to come up with an agreement that while the kids are in school, they will let them like do school work. So I feel like, he's basically showing that this is a woman who likes to protect people, who doesn't like people getting hurt. And if Megan had basically expressed that she was feeling like killing herself because of the negative stories, Diana would have taken action. I personally, I believe that. The Diana that everyone keeps talking about, from like back in the day, who fought for people, who went to other countries and like just basically embraced people who were sick and then people who were, less fortunate. I don't think she would have just let the media keep on, allowed them to keep on basically writing negative stories, knowing that she was a pregnant woman who was thinking about killing herself. So I truly, truly agree with that. That's not the Diana that I've seen or heard about from back in the day. Duty. Prince Harry also talks about duty, basically. He talks about how, like, there are many ways you can serve. And I completely 100% agree with that. This is his way. In his eyes, he's serving. Yes, they're making $100 million. So what? If they're being offered $100 million to tell the truth and basically tell you what's important to them, I would take that deal myself. So he's basically saying this is his duty. His duty is basically to let people understand what's going on and letting people see that this is not okay. He wants to stop the media feeding frenzy, and there were clips shown of Kate, clips shown of Diana not in the mood, literally, to be to be taken to be snapped. Two of his ex-girlfriends refused to marry him because they just couldn't deal with the media. And we saw that he married Meghan quickly before, I guess, she figured out how bad it could really get. So he understands that. One important fact that I didn't know, I literally did not know, is that when Diana was chased, yes, I understand that people think all of that was just because the driver was drunk. Having alcohol in your blood does not mean that you are drunk. So if they tested your blood and you had alcohol in it, it doesn't mean that you were not able to drive. There are people who have DUIs and are still alive. So I don't buy that for a second. Seatbelt or not seatbelt, you can die if there's an accident. Okay, my dad died. He was wearing his seatbelt. So to me, that's also not an excuse. The media were right there while she was dying for a good 15 minutes. She was alive and moving, and they couldn't get it in their minds to basically take her out and go get her some help. Instead, they were so focused on those pictures because they were going to make a ton of money from it because a lot of people wanted to read about Diana. So that's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. And yeah, I think he's right to call out stuff like that. Yes, they're not like that anymore. Not exactly, but there are other ways that they still get to just feed on you and write stories that will absolutely destabilize you. And I think that that's wrong. Something else that he was bothered about was the fact that media technically has to write stories. So if there's a story about someone accusing a senior member of the royal family of something ugly, they have to write the story. They don't have to write 50 articles, but they have to at least write one. And what he's saying is that something that he knew that was done even when he was a little boy was that there was trading stories. So basically, you can write your one story, which you have to write because, well, media has to write stories that are true, that things that happen. I have read Prince Andrew's stories, and they're written in a very matter-of-factly manner. So not basically focus on how horrible these accusations are, but just saying, well, a woman accused Prince Andrew, and this happened. Just basically giving you the facts. However, sometimes when there are ugly stories like this, negative Meghan Markle stories will appear. And then her sister goes on TV, and then her dad goes on TV. And so now you want to read about Prince Andrew. I have read, but on those days I feel like the bigger story was Meghan. Because, while I was reading the one story, there's all these other stories on the side, and you click and it's Meghan, and you click and it's Meghan. And they have royal experts explaining how horrible it is to hold your belly and all these things like that. So I just feel like, again, as a person who I'm watching with my own eyes and not through some TV program or YouTuber or anything like that. I saw these things when they happened, and when he's explaining it, I truly believe them. And then so that brings me to one last part on Harry, which is that he's very heartbroken. At least from he basically name dropped people, his dad, his brother, communications that he had only with them. Once you tell the media, that's 50 new articles. So he's heartbroken that his family basically treated him like that. He went to them with, uh, 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 basically trying to protect Meghan from all these crazy stories that are basically upsetting because they're not true, you know. Do I believe that the palace is feeding the media stories? Yeah. The media tells us, and I will pull up the clips. Here are the clips for those.
If you're also, from a journalistic point of view, getting briefings from inside the palace saying that key people were really hurt and offended.
There is probably some truth in that, in the sense that the palace in particular was very keen to make sure that the heir to the throne was protected, and Harry could be sacrificed if necessary. And actually, when I was working, I shouldn't give the name of the paper, but I was doing a piece for one of the nationals, writing a piece. And I was told, because I'm quite critical of the monarchy in many ways, I was told I could say what I wanted about Harry and Meghan, but I had to lay off William and Kate. That was the instruction from the editor. So I think there was an element of truth in what he says.
So they are saying, with your story, the reverse happened from your story.
A few things on that. First of all, as you know, I don't write things that I don't believe to be true and that haven't been really well sourced. What's interesting about them coming out with that now is, obviously, I'm well known for doing royal coverage, so at any point in time when we had published that, I would have expected to have received a phone call saying it's wrong or it's misconstrued, this mustn't be reported again. I don't know, you'd even expect editorial compliance to be involved. That never happened.
So if the media is basically confirming that if a story is wrong, there's a way to correct it. They can basically get editorial compliance to be involved. Why are they not getting those people involved when lies are being told about Meghan Markle? There are things that were not even in the docuseries that I'm seeing online, and I'm even wondering why they didn't make it into the docuseries. The picture with this picture with Meghan Markle, and a shrine with Diana. I've heard that story at least 50 times. And I actually was starting to believe it because I didn't know what else to believe. You get your information from media, social media. This is the picture. But that picture is an edited version of this picture. It never happened. And so when there are big lies that the world is believing, then you have to understand that it is heartbreaking when your family will not protect you when they have the power to do so. So I truly believe that. And I wanted to sneak something in really quickly, and I will use an analogy. In my own family, my grandmother, when she was a young woman, younger than I am right now, was walking by a church and she felt like she found the truth. She went in and she was very happy. She felt like she found good news. And she brought that to her family. That's that. Now, I'm the granddaughter. I'm now older than she was. I should be able to find my truth, right? I should be able to basically say, oh, okay, this truth I don't want or I don't believe in or I want to do research on it. So, and I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of that here, where like the Queen dedicated her family to the service. But we're in the 21st century. Harry is now way older than the Queen was when she dedicated her family. If this isn't working for him, I think he should be able to leave and still be a family member. Like if you want to quit your job, you can. Why shouldn't he be able to quit his job and find one that suits him better? You can modernize the monarchy and keep important traditions that matter. What matters is that you're serving, you're out there, people know you're grieving with them, and all these things that you're doing, but maybe you don't have to show your kids' pictures if you don't want to. I don't think the world would end if you don't show your kids' pictures. Anyways, with that, I'm going to go into Meghan. and what Meghan basically, I think, wanted out of the docuseries. So, like I said, I think she wanted to set the record straight about some lies. Samantha Markle did not raise Meghan. How could she? She couldn't even raise her own kids. Her kids had to be legally taken away from her. Her own mother calls her abusive. Her own daughters call her abusive. So when she lies on TV like that, you know that there's no way the media doesn't know. The media, they do their due diligence. They investigate. They found the truth, but they chose to lie. That's the way that I see that. They found the truth and they chose to lie. I also believe that when you hire a PI and your PI decides to speak out against you, it's because you're lying. A PI was hired by the Sun to investigate Meghan Markle. He needs to get some real dirt on her. He didn't find any. And he came back with the report that he has. So if I'm a PI and I take pride in my work and the report comes back and, basically I've made the report and there's nothing there. And then the next day, the newspapers are printing lies. Some people find that hard to just keep their mouths shut. And that's what I think. That's the reason why I think the PI came out to say, yeah, they're not being fair to Meghan. They paid an actor to say that he slept with Meghan. So she will look sleazy to people. Again, they're literally changing people's opinion, influencing people's opinion, in my opinion, brainwashing you to think she's someone that she is not. Now, Meghan and Harry, I would say both of them together felt betrayed finally by the family. Again, I don't think that this means that the royal family needs to be ruined and destroyed, and they can improve things. They can change their, mode of operation and protect their family. You can serve your country, or you can, dedicate your life to the country while still protecting your family. I think both can be a priority. But they felt betrayed because when the dad started speaking to the media, she approached the family, top members of the family, to basically ask, what can I do? What should I do so I'm not making things worse, but I can fix it? And they said, handwritten letter. She trusted them. She wrote a handwritten letter with, I believe her assistant at the time. I think he co-wrote or maybe suggested things, but he was in the know of how the letter came to be. And she, I would imagine that she's smart enough to understand that she can't completely write everything she feels because it could get leaked. Her dad could literally just give it to the media. And so she sent it. The signature on the letter was not from her dad. It was someone else's signature. And then the next day it was leaked it was like front page on the media. And they took out all good references, things that basically make her seem like a nice, genuine, normal, kind individual. They took those out. They redacted those and left whatever, basically a edited letter that doesn't portray what she was trying to convey to him. That's what they basically printed again to make her look bad. Some people don't care about looking bad, but some people do. She cares. And being pregnant, having that letter being, splashed across the pages of the media, having her dad on TV every day speaking about her negatively, having her sister on TV speaking about her negatively, and then knowing that other people that she trusted were also betraying her at the same time. That, I think, is awful. They lost, Meghan miscarried a baby, and they basically lost a child. So again, I think this is personal for them. I think, I want people to speak, If I've heard one side, I want to hear the other side. No, it's not true that we've only heard Meghan's side. That's not true. For years, she wasn't allowed to speak. For years, we've heard, from the aides who have given her names, nicknames. We've heard from all these royal experts or royal commentators and all these people with, insiders and all that stuff. We've heard from all these people. Maybe it's time to hear from Harry and Meghan. When you lie to ruin someone's reputation, people can die. A man recently committed suicide when his wife falsely accused him of something that he didn't do. That ruined everything for him. Similarly, when Johnny Depp was falsely accused and lies were printed in the media against him, he lost jobs and his life was negatively impacted. If the truth isn't good enough, then don't write the stories, but don't lie to ruin someone's reputation, because in Meghan's situation,
if you'd seen the stuff that was written and you were receiving it, the kind of rhetoric that's online, if you don't know what I know, you would feel under threat all of the time.
So you were convinced that there was a genuine threat to Meghan's life on on more than one occasion, on several occasions?
We had teams investigating it. People have been prosecuted for those threats.
she has been approached by people who believe these stories, asking her why she's so mean to her dad. People's hatred for her aren't even based on the truth. Here's another person who right now, after the docuseries, just wrote something about her. This person wants, in his mind, his fantasies, that she's walking on the street naked and having excrement, feces thrown at her. This is just more hatred for absolutely no reason. I also wanted to play a plea that Meghan Markle made to the media.
You are making people want to kill me. It's not just a tabloid. It's not just some story. You are making me scared, right? And like that night, to be up and down in the middle of the night, looking down my hallway, like, are we safe? Are the doors locked? Is security on? Is everything? That's real. Are my babies safe? And you've created it for what? Because you're bored, or because it sells your papers? Or it makes you feel better about your own life? It's real what you're doing. And that's the piece I don't think people fully understand.
I also appreciated seeing Meghan again. Meghan by herself, without the media telling me who she is, and just seeing her for myself with my own eyes. Here's what I hope for in the future. I hope that they come back together, and I hope they end all fights. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.